Alright guys, so it's been an absolute hot minute since I filmed and since I published anything on the YouTube channel, but I'm here and I'm slightly back. There's been a lot of stuff going on that has prohibited me from uploading onto the channel for such a long time, 4 months to be exact. On my community tab, I posted a little post that I had a UTI, and for those who don't know, I use a catheter, a Foley catheter, basically one that stays in my bladder, and I go into a bag, not a suprapubic. And that type of catheter sadly poses more risk of a UTI, but I've made it so many months and even a year into my injury without a UTI. But July 6th, however, I started feeling a lot more hot and more sweaty than I typically did. And my AD, I don't even know if I mentioned this in the post, my AD kept skyrocketing out of nowhere, maybe because that was my body's way of telling me that there was something going on. So my autonomic dysreflexia started acting up more and more, and Nurse Dana, my nurse, slightly noticed that, and she's like, okay, that's a little bit weird that your AD is acting up, and we tried to fix it by draining my catheter bag, and even at one point doing a bowel program, because, sometimes that happens. So I thought that would fix the issue, but hours later, I still had the AD. It was mild, it wasn't anything bad, but I wanted to get it treated because, that is my body's way of telling me that something's wrong below here. So we tried everything. We tried repositioning me. I tried to do a weight shift. I tried to do almost every single thing, but it didn't work. So at that point, I was starting to get a little bit more worried and was scared that, something was going on, internally, or something that I couldn't fix, or something that I didn't know of. So the next day, July 7th, I was running a pretty high fever. And my urine, even though this might be TMI, I have a bag on my leg that's clear, so Nurse Dana can see if there's urine, if my urine looks different or weird. And she noticed it kind of looked cloudy. Cloudy urine can be a sign of a UTI that's coming up. And so I was like, okay, maybe I have a UTI. We kind of went through it, and we started, making me flush it out by drinking way more water, and we kind of took out my catheter for a few, my Foley one, deflated the balloon, took out the bag, and just kept doing intermittent ICs, intermittent catheters. Something that I'm not used to. They had to just shove a catheter up and up there, even though I'm not used to that, so it was a little bit weird getting a hourly cath, because I go to the bathroom a lot. I do 24 ICs a day. When I was doing my UTI, we had to do 24 ICs a day because I go to the bathroom every hour, which is insane, I know. My Foley bag prevents that. My Foley bag prevents Nurse Dana having to do 24 catheters in one day. So I'm going to talk more about my UTIs since yesterday's video got interrupted. Apologize for my voice. I just woke up. I'm not sick. But yeah, July 6th, I had a UTI, and I'm going to do the rundown because I explained it in the first bit, but I felt warmer than I usually do, and my AD was acting up. I always had, a thing of mild AD. On July 6th, it was, getting pretty bad, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Nurse Dana didn't know why, and then later on in the day, I think, she took, I go into a bag, a catheter bag that's clear, and so Nurse Dana saw that my urine looked cloudy, and cloudy urine is a sign of a UTI. So it was at that point I had to, I guess we were a little worried because it was my first UTI since my injury, and I've been injured since October of 2023, so that's a very long stretch of time. And the catheter, in case I didn't say in the first part, my catheter creates more room for a UTI since it's staying in me for prolonged. I don't have a suprapubic, I don't do intermittent ICs, simply because I do 24 to 27 a day, and that is way too tiring to do because in like barely 2 days I'll reach 48 catheters. So, and that is just way too many, and we've always found that process painstaking because I spasm a lot, and Nurse Dana would have to carry me out of my wheelchair. I think we've done a few videos on this. I used to do intermittent ICs before I got a leg bag over a year ago. But the intermittent IC used to take me out of my wheelchair to have my whole entire body spasm, because I'm like paralyzed from about there. So when she's doing an intermittent IC, it can be hard on her and for me because I'm pretty tall. She has to like kind of like lean with me. So it's a whole process that is painstakingly long, and to do 24 of those a day is horrible. But fast forward to July 7th, I was running a pretty high fever because my body wasn't responding well to the UTI, and I laid in bed for most hours of the day, just with Nurse Dana doing intermittent ICs, and at one point putting up a Foley bag again to see if the urine had cleared or anything. But, you know, most of the time I was just lying in bed while she put up intermittent ICs, and I ended up like using 48 catheters, probably more. I'll put up the total of catheters I used dushed in, I believe, a week or 6 days. It was a bad experience because I just laid in bed, had an eye mask, and that's what my friend Emmy did. I think she's had a UTI before. Only one in her entire injury though. So she kind of did what I did, just leaning in her wheelchair with an eye mask. And I laid in bed with an eye mask, so it's kind of funny how we almost did the same thing. But UTIs suck. They absolutely suck. I want y'all to know that, it wasn't like a fun experience, you know, I'm laughing. No, it absolutely sucked. I laid in bed for days. But yeah, that was my UTI experience. Thankfully, I've been better for many, many days. Me and Nurse Dana, we don't leave it in me, but we do take pretty good care of it so that I only get 1 UTI a year, or almost 2 years, which is insane to me. So thankfully, we're taking great care of my bladder. I'm back on the Foley system. That is my UTI experience. I finally got to this video. I apologize for not uploading for 4 months. I don't know when I'm going to upload again, because then again, my life's pretty busy and I don't really have time to film. But I do want to thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.